I wanted to make an as simple as possible video on acceleration mechanics, kind of what we look at and how we teach it. So I want to go over a couple of key bullet points to keep it simple so you guys can get as much as possible out of it. So number one, what are we looking at? In terms of that forward lean for the torso and your whole body, you want to be somewhere between 40 and 50 degrees. If you're a younger, slower kid, you're not going to be able to hold that for as long, and that's okay. So one of the biggest problems we often see is people try to overcoach. Hey, stay down, stay down, stay down. But if you're not fast enough and strong enough to hold that position, and you're artificially bending at the waist, as an example, trying to stay down for longer so you can dig, it's going to get in the way of you getting up to your top end speed. So if you're a younger, slower kid, you're not going to be able to hold that acceleration position for as long, and that's okay. There are people like Christian Coleman who have an incredibly crazy forward lean for a really long time, and that's Christian Coleman, one of the best starters of all time. So not necessarily for team sport athletes. You're not going to be able to see that angle and holding that for as long. Shin angles. You probably want to see the shin angles about matching the torso angle. When we talk about a positive shin angle, we're basically talking about when the foot hits the ground, the shin is going to show you how you're putting force in the ground and then what direction that force is returning to. So if you want to go this way, your shins have to come back, attacking back at the ground. So a positive shin angle would look more like this, and when you put force into the ground, it's actually pushing you this way. If you're getting to a completely vertical shin angle too soon, you're putting force in the ground and it's just pushing you up. And the start and acceleration is all about projection and how you can get your hips and your center of mass going that way as fast as possible. So shin angles are a big part of that. Projection and push. So with the start, especially on that first step, the focus should be almost leaping out like you're shot out of a cannon and getting your hips to go this way as fast as possible. In terms of triple extension, your knee, your hip, your ankle are all kind of extending, but you're not going to see that perfectly straight line, maybe on the first step, but after that, you're not going to see complete and full triple extension. The knee is almost never going to fully extend, and that's okay. Now, where your foot lands, your foot should land underneath your center of mass, underneath your hip. So if we're looking at it right here, when I'm accelerating, I'm hammering back, and my foot should hit down on the ball of the foot somewhere around this hip right here. And it should actually be coming back at the ground. That's what we mean when we say, hey, attack back at the ground. So that's kind of the fourth point, and it goes hand in hand with the fifth point, which is that you should be hitting on the ball of the foot. Like if you're bouncing up and down, it feels good when you're on the ball of the foot. If you try to go heel first, it feels terrible. There's no spring, there's no return. And so when we're accelerating, we want the same exact thing. So when I say it goes hand in hand, because if you're reaching out in front of you and you're landing with your foot way out in front of your hip because you're reaching and trying to get there as fast as you can, then your shin angle's not right and you're probably more likely to be heel striking. So for hitting under the ball of the foot, it kind of goes hand in hand with striking back underneath the hip. The other thing we look at is a stiff ankle. We don't mean immobile, but we mean when the foot hits the ground, there shouldn't be a lot of give right here. And elite sprinters, their toe practically hits the ground and that heel doesn't budge at all. So if you see a kid and we're sprinting and the ball of the foot hits and then the ankle just kind of melts to the ground like this, it tells me they don't have enough stiffness in the ankle, and we need to work on getting their calves stronger, their soleus stronger, and probably doing a lot of short ground contact plyos so they can develop that stiffness. Okay, last one on heel recovery. That's when you're accelerating, basically where your heel is at in the acceleration. We don't teach like this toe drag, crazy low heel recovery. But that being said, we also don't want this big cycle motion where they just kind of stand straight up and start butt kicking and getting into what would look like more like max velocity mechanics where there's this cycle. So we do want to teach a little bit more of a hammer back action, and the heel should be a little lower than this butt kick. So we're kind of attacking back here and the heel stays kind of low as opposed to just butt kicking right here. There are exceptions to the rules. There are some people that start with a little bit of a higher heel recovery, and there's people that start with a crazy low heel recovery. Somewhere in the middle is probably where you want to be. Now, what are some of the best things you can do to improve your mechanics? I would say a lot of starts. Half kneeling starts, falling starts, push-up starts, anything that kind of gets your body at a good incline and teaches good shin angles and how to attack back, hit on the ball of the foot is going to be very beneficial. Number two, any kind of short ground contact plyos to get the body better at kind of touching the ground and quickly springing back up off the ground will teach that ankle stiffness that we were talking about that you want to see on your starts. And then number three, probably my favorite and the simplest, is any kind of resisted sprint. That could be hill sprints too. So hill sprints, resisted sprints, sled sprints. We're a big fan of any drill that's going to set you up for success by almost forcing you into a good position. With hill sprints or resisted sprints, it kind of forces you to get a good forward incline. It forces you to kind of attack back, to hit your foot under the ball of the hip. It slows things down so you can feel that a little bit more. And if you do it the wrong way on a resisted sprint, you'll really feel it and it's going to slow you down a lot. So a lot of kids can kind of figure it out just by adding those in.